All right, so my name is Anthony Castan. I'm a lead functional consultant here at Tieto Every. I've been working at Tieto Every for over 4 years now, and I've been working with Workday 2 since 2016, so a little while ago. So let me now go with the webinar practicality. That's first. You have seen this probably in the previous presentation, but remember, we have our digital HR insider community. So if you want some relevant event invitations, some great content for your HR digitalization journey, please join us. There is a great content there. So as often with Workday, Safe Harbor statement applies for the following features that you're going to see here. We'll start first with basic compensation features. And then in the second part, I will go with advanced compensation new features. So let's start with basic compensation first. And the first feature I want to present is self-service for one-time payment. So with Workday 2022R2, you can, or your employee can, initiate a one-time payment process for themselves. So there is a brand new business process called Request One-Time Payment for Self, which allows your employee to initiate a one-time payment. So it can be used, for example, for tuition reimbursement or for any kind of reimbursement that the employee might have or might need. So this is a great new feature. I think the brainstorm for that have been over 400 votes. So these have been really weighted in compensation. So how it works, configuration. So there is a new domain for self-service called self-service request one-time payment that you need to enable if you want to opt in for this feature. You need to create a default business process definition for request employee payment for self, request one-time payment for self, sorry, because this is a brand new business process. It doesn't exist in your tenant, so you need to first create the default definition. Once you have created that, you need to update, of course, your business process security policy, your business process definition. So is there any review step? Of course, I believe, is there any approval? So you need to define the new definition for this process. And as we are talking about business process, you need to create as well your own business process category and reasons. The second part, you can configure custom validation if you have any for this. And of course, there is one thing that you will see is the one-time payment plans need to be marked as a worker selectable. So we will see in the tenants, in your one-time payment, in your new line, a new checkbox that you can tick, which is worker selectable. If the one-time payment plan is marked as a worker selectable, the employee will be able to request a one-time payment for self for this specific one-time payment plan. So let's jump in the tenant for a quick demo. So I'm going to show one-time payments. Oops, one time. Did it too fast. So one-time payment plan. I'm going to look at my newly created tuition reimbursement plan. So you can see here, there is this new line for the one-time payment, worker selectable set as a yes. So basically, when that is set as a yes, my employee will be able to pick up tuition reimbursement in the business process. As mentioned, there is a new domain. There's a new domain called self-service request one-time payments. One-time payments. So you need to enable this domain and change the necessary security there. So add your employee as self in the security group. And we have a new business process called request one-time payments for self. So here is my definition. So we have an initiation step. I have added a review from the manager and an approval from the compensation partner. And at last, for the configuration, you need to maintain your event category and reason. And you have here one-time payment for self. So I've created one reason category, one-time payment for self, and two different reasons, gift reimbursement and tuition reimbursement. So now let's go to a quick demonstration. So I'm going to proxy as an employee. And you have several ways for your employee to launch this request. So you can go to your search bar and request one-time payment for myself, or you can go to the worker profile on the related action for compensation, request one-time payment for myself. So what's the effective date? Why are we requesting this payment? So this is my business process reason that we configured. So we have this gift reimbursement and tuition reimbursement. And I'm going to add here the one-time payment plan. So you can see here, even if I have lots of one-time payment plans in my tenant, only one is showing up here, because this is the only plan where we have marked as a worker selectable. So you can see the other one-time payment plan are not listed here. So tuition reimbursement, John Chen have been doing a training of $500 US. You can add some additional information here and submit. And you can see, as we have in my business process definition, the next step go for a review of the manager. So additional consideration you have for this feature is that the existing custom validation that you may have for request one-time payments, they apply for request one-time payment for self. So you need to pay attention for that and maybe make a change in your existing custom validation if they don't apply for request one-time payment for self. And as mentioned, if a one-time payment is not marked as a worker selectable, the employee is not able to select it when they are requesting a one-time payment for self. So what's changing with Workday 2020R2? We have a greater flexibility, so your employee are able to request a one-time payment for themselves. So a brand new business process, new domain security. So a great feature now coming for this release. So what we need to do, as mentioned, we need to configure the default definition. You need to create your own categories and reason for the one-time payment for self event. If you have any custom validation, don't forget to configure them. You need to of course, you have this new domain that we saw, search service request one-time payment that you need to enable for this. And you need to mark your one-time payment plans as a worker selectable. And if you do nothing, this is just opt-in, so nothing will be impacting if you don't go for this feature. The next feature I want to present is Benefits and Pay Hub. Yes, sorry.
Sorry, there is a question about the previous feature. Okay. Can we use existing one-time payment to make worker selectable, or is it only for new plans?
No, it's you can edit existing plan to mark them as worker selectable. You don't need to recreate new plans. So if you see in your tenant that you have plan which can be requested by employees themselves, you can just edit them and mark them as a worker selectable.
Thank you. You can continue.
Okay, great. So right, the next feature is Benefits and Pay Hub. So this is a new hub presented by Workday in this feature. So Workday wanted to have a single location for the employees so they can review their own benefits, compensation, payroll information, if there's any extra reports. They wanted to have that in one single place. And that's why they created this benefits and pay hub with Workday 2022R2. So configuration, you need to enable a new domain called self-service benefits and pay hub, and also self-service compensation history domain. So as you can see, Workday created a new domain that employee can access to their compensation history. And then if you want to go with this feature, you have a task called maintain hubs, and you need to maintain the new benefit and pay hubs. So let's jump in for a quick demonstration of it. So we have this task called maintain hubs, and we have here benefits and pay. So I'm going to go and click configure. So you can see in this hub, you can add some announcements. So if you have benefits also, you can talk about the new open enrollment coming or some benefit events or new benefit plan. If you want, you can, for example, as we did here, do you have some tuition fees? So we added a message, don't hesitate to request reimbursement in Workday. So you can have any announcement you want here. Then you have a place for suggested link. And then you have a place for the content. So what the employee will see in this new hub. So you can choose to use a default section and cards. So you can see here, you can just you have the default hub, and you can make changes. For example, if I go here, you can make changes to the cards, on the title of the card, on the subtitle, on the help text. So here, the default title is Annual Total Rewards Package. So I want to customize and write just estimated annual compensation. And click OK. So then I'm going to go and look. I'm going to my home. Then I will scroll here to my top application. And you have this benefits and pay. So if I click on it, you will see that we have the overview with my announcement, tuition fees. The suggested link would be applied here in this side on the left, if I would have any. And you can see the worker themselves, based on their security, of course, they have access to any to task to request one-time payment for self, to change their benefits, access to their paid documentation. We can have this need attention. For example, Logan is having two benefit events ongoing. But what gives us interest is compensation here. So we have the current you can see here the change I've done, estimated annual compensation. So we overrided the title of this card. So it gives me access to my total rewards in this card, my compensation history, my bonus and one-time payments, my stock grant in the overview. If I want more detail, I can go to this compensation and click here, bonus and one-time payments. So I'm going to see here all the history, or my history in bonus and one-time payments. Similar way, I can have access to my compensation review statement, my total rewards, as you can see. So similarly done on the worker profile on the compensation tab, my compensation history. So this is new information for the worker, and compensation summary. So Workday wanted to create this one hub, this one page where you can access to all your benefits, pay, and compensation information, and then request one-time payment for self. So if I click here, you can see it takes me directly to request one-time payments for myself. So with this feature, Workday really wanted to improve the user experience and to have a greater visibility on their current benefits, pay, and compensation information. So additional consideration, you cannot configure the navigation or the action bar of the benefit and pay hub. But you can edit the position of each card. So you can choose if one card is more important than another. You can put it a little bit on higher on the page or lower. So what's changing with this feature? They introduce a new benefit and pay hub. So you have, like mentioned, your employee can have only one single location where they can access to and maintain their benefits, their compensation, their payroll informations, and any kind of reports you want to share with them in this new hub. For this, you need to enable two new domains called self-service compensation history and self-service benefit and pay hub. And of course, you need to maintain your content, what you want to be displayed in this hub by maintaining apps and select this benefit and pay hub. If you do nothing, the employee will be continuing to use the existing pay and benefit worklets. So yeah, the idea of Workday with this new feature is removing the existing worklets that you would use this new benefit and pay hub, so to improve your employee user experience with this. The next feature is internal compensation.
Sorry again.
Yes, sorry.
We have a couple of more questions.
Okay.
Just could you confirm and answer what is the impact if compensation history is not enabled for employees? Is the first one?
Yes. So if the compensation history is not enabled, they wouldn't have access to the card for compensation history. I don't see any other impact. To be honest, I haven't tested this. I didn't test not enabling this compensation history. So it might be that you will not have the full experience if you don't enable this.
Okay, and is it a must to change security for compensation history for employees, or would the pay and benefit hub work anyhow without the security change?
That's a good question. That's a good question. In my opinion, I think only the compensation history card that we saw. I'm already in home, but I would believe only this compensation history would be hidden, but I would need to confirm that. So it can be also it will have an impact on the. So you can see here, it can be it will have here the compensation history. So it can be that this one will be hidden. So there wouldn't be access to this. But I will need to confirm and check would there be any impact on other process on visibility. Sorry, on other part of this pay hub. So I will, if you can mark down the question, so I will do some more testing with this.
Yes, we will get back to the Oscar with this.
Okay.
And we had one more question. Is there a plan to remove individual pay and benefit apps eventually?
No, they haven't talked about depreciating the existing worklets. So at the moment you can continue the existing use the existing worklets that you have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the great questions as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Please continue.
So the next feature is internal compensation benchmark for job profiles. So with this feature, there will be a new report provided by Workday where you can have a look at your different pay range for job profiles. So you can have a better visibility on your pay equity goals. So, as mentioned, there's a new report. The new report is called Internal Compensation Benchmark for Job Profiles. And it's not available. You need to, it's secured by the domain non-worker data internal compensation benchmark. So if you want to have access to this report, you need to enable this domain non-worker data internal compensation benchmark. So how it looked like in the tenant, this new report. So I go to this new compensation benchmark for job profiles. And you can filter by job profile, job family, or job family group. So if I write here senior HR representative and staff HR representative. So you can have access here to the job profiles, job families, and you will see here that this report is split in two different parts. First, you have this total base pay part, where you have the compensation grade and the grade profile, and the min and max, the position counts. But also you will have here the similar information with total salary and allowances. And you can compare. So it's a report which makes it easier for you to compare your existing information of job profile and the compensation information to it. So you can see here for my staff HR representative in US, California, San Francisco, I have 2 positions, the average, and here's the min and max. So here we have only 1 position, so the min and max and the average are the same. So you can see here, for example, in San Francisco, there is pretty big difference between these 2 employees. So then you have quick information on your pay equity. This is Workday delivered reports. You could create a copy of this report and add a configurable compensation basis, such as total compensation, for instance. So you can create a copy of this report and add your own configurable compensation basis. Additional consideration to it. So new report means new business object and new fields, which are listed here. I'm gonna not through it because it would be just reading for reading, but keep in mind that you have this new internal compensation benchmark for job profile, which is linked to the job profile business object, and new report fields on the job profile business object, internal total base pay benchmark for job profile, and internal total salary and allowance benchmark for job profile. So what's changing with this new feature? You have a greater view on your existing pay range for your different job profile, but we have seen also this job family that you can filter on. So it makes it easier for you to audit the existing information. What you need to do, it's automatically available, but as I said, if the domain non-worker data internal compensation benchmark is not enabled, then you will not have access to this report. So you want to make sure that you have the correct security for this domain before you can have access to this report. And if you do nothing is going to impact your current existing configuration. It's just totally opt-in. All right. Next feature is locality pay areas. So it's mostly for your employees in US. So you can create and maintain locality pay. And with this feature, when you have creating your locality pay, you can apply a locality percentage that you can use in calculated compensation plans. So that helps you to reduce manual effort and manual errors when you need to take care of this locality paid percentage applied for the employee. So for this configuration, we have a new domain called setup locality pay that you need to enable if you want to opt in for this feature. You need to go for the task, create a maintain locality pay and create your new locality pay and add a percentage for them. And once you have created that, you can use this locality pay percentage. It's linked to an instance value calculation, and then it can be used for your calculated compensation plans. So let's go for a quick demo. So I have this new task, which is maintain locality pay. It's effective dated. So for example, if your percentage is changing on the yearly basis, you can apply an effective date to it. So you can see here my different locality pay I've created. So I go for New York, and I've applied the percentage of 35%. This is a locality pay percentage for New York this year. So how I created this New York locality pay, I need to create locality pay area with an effective date. And I would add, for example, Seattle. Percentage would be 27. And I add my different location here. So I can add multiple locations. I can re-add New York, but it doesn't make sense. And I create that. So I have created my locality pay area. Once you have created your locality pay and maintaining the percentage, you can go and create a calculated plan. So I have already created this. So view. I will go to my plans. And I go to my newly created calculated plan called locality pay. And you can see the calculation here is my total base pay multiplied by my locality pay percentage. This is a new delivered field. It's Workday on instance value calculation. So Workday will pick up the locality pay percentage based on the location of the worker. So if my worker is in New York, we saw it was 35%. So the result of this calculated plan will be total base pay multiplied by 35%. If you have a location which is in two different locality pay, so for example, we are trying to add New York in Seattle, for example, so we have my New York locality pay and Seattle locality pay where New York is also included there. So Workday will automatically take, so New York will be part of both locality pay. As a result, Workday would take the locality pay where the percentage is higher. So in Seattle, we have at 25%, in New York, we have 35%. So if my employee is located in New York, Workday is going to take the 35%. So if you have one location and two different locality pay, Workday will automatically apply the highest percentage to. So additional consideration, as mentioned, the location and percentage are effective dated. So if it's changing on the yearly basis, you can apply an effective date and report on it. Like mentioned also, if a location is part of two locality pay area, the greater of the 2% will be applied. So this is how Workday will handle in case of this multiple location part of locality pay. So what's changing? So to reduce the manual effort, so you can use this new feature, locality pay areas. So it will reduce considerably the user error and manual efforts for all this locality pay area in United States. So you need to set up the locality pay domain. So this is new domain that you need to enable. That will give you access to configure new locality pay areas task. And with this, you can create after that your calculated compensation plans. This is totally opt-in feature, so nothing will happen and nothing will impact your current configuration if you don't go for this feature. So other features, so there have been some minor changes in Workday in basic compensation that I've listed in the following. So compensation plan security consistency. There is new prompts you will notice in request compensation change, which are linked to select any compensation package domain. So you notice domain gives you access in a request compensation change to select any compensation plans, even if an employee is not eligible for a specific allowance. If you have the right security, you can assign a specific any allowance you want for this employee. So before you had this prompt called all compensation plans. Workday split it nowadays in two different prompts, all compensation plans and all compensation plans in compensation package. So this is what this new feature is about. It's applied for calculated plan, hourly plan, paired salary plan, and salary plan. So, so if I go to request compensation change, Then I go to salary. Just add a new salary plan. So you can see here that you have this all compensation plan and the all compensation plans in compensation package. Then you have plan type name override. So this is applicable for calculated plans. So often we heard from customers that the naming calculated plans sounds a bit odd. It will confuse the employee. So now you can override the plan type name. So how it works. So I have created a calculated plan. Calculated plan. I just check service. So you can see here for calculated plans, you have this new line here that you can fill called plan type name override. So I created calculated plan for my year of service. So if you are using calculated plan currently, you would see in the worker profile that the employee would see that they have a calculated plan. So some company and so we're saying that this is a bit odd naming calculated plan. It doesn't make sense for the employee. So what Workday is now providing is this plan type name override. Sorry. So if I go to my employee, John Brown, and go look at the compensation. So they can see here the years of service. The plan type name is allowance plan. This is what we overrided. We didn't want to display calculated plan because it didn't make sense for the employee. So we wanted to display allowance plan. So you can see, even if it's a calculated plan, the plan type name is overridden. You have also, in addition to this feature, you have plan type name override to the put compensation plan web service. And then we have forfeits for bonus and one-time payments. So you have a new column added to the current bonus and one-time payments report, just to display if the event is forfeited or not. So you have this new column which were added to this delivered report. As this new field were added, so you have new report field in Workday 2022R2 that can be used for your own reportings. At last, for basic compensation, we have import compensation benchmark cycle configuration web service. So you have a new web service where you can bring your own compensation benchmark cycle. All right, that completes the part for basic compensation. I'm not sure, is there any question on basic compensation before we jump to advanced compensation?
No further questions at the moment. You can continue.
Right. So next, let's go with advanced compensation features. So the first one is custom modifiers for bonus.
Actually, sorry.
Okay, yes, sure.
There's one more question, right? Just now came in. Is the plan name override available only for calculated plan or also other comp plans?
Currently, it's only calculated plans.
Okay, quick and precise. Yeah. Thank you.
Unfortunately, so let's see if if this feature will be used more. So maybe they will apply it to other. I know that stock sometimes can be confusing. So let's see. Custom modifiers for bonus proration segments. So with Workday 2022R2, you can now create a custom modifiers for your bonus proration segments. So that gives you much bigger, much greater flexibility. So when you try to calculate your employee bonus awards, that can be used, for example, if you want to prorate an employee awards based on multiple performance factors, performance ratings. So you can you can prorate awards also by modifiers that your scorecard cannot do. So if there's something that scorecard cannot apply, you can use these custom modifiers to bring it to your calculation. So what you need to do, there is a new task called maintain compensation review custom modifier. You need, of course, to update your configuration review options to include this new custom modifier section. So we will go through a demo and you will see this. You need to initiate your compensation review process, of course, and progress to configure pull steps. So once you reach to the configure pull step, that's the place where you can start to create or to apply your custom modifiers. So, and of course, there's a new web service called Maintain Compensation Review for Custom Modifier for employee, new task, and a new web service for this. So let's jump to the demo for a quick demonstration. So I will go to Maintain Custom Modifier. So this is my new task. So you can see here I've created two different custom modifiers, so based on adjustment factor or position performance factor that can be in use. So you can create as many as you want in here. The list can be infinite. Then I've been launching a compensation review process. I'll go to select my employees in the process. So if I go to the bonus part and I click to this Laura, to the total target in employee currency of Laura Andrews and go to the discretionary target amount, you can see this is just a normal. We don't have any custom modifier yet applied. So what I'm going to do is I will open a new tab. It will be easier. And I will go to maintain custom modifier, maintain compensation review custom modifier for employee. So I'm going to select which compensation review I want this to be applied. So I have my bonus modifier here. Which employee? So I want Laura Andrews. And for which bonus plan? So now I can click here and add my custom modifiers. So you can see my list here is adjustment factor. For adjustment factor, I'm going to put 95%. And for my position performance factor, I'm going to put 110%. I click OK. And I'm going to do similar way for another employee in the process. Kylie Winters. But for this employee, I want to apply only one custom modifier, which is the position performance factor of 80. So here you will see that segment end date, how it's determined. So this employee, you can have in your bonus plan the proration applied. So for example, if the employee have changed the position, so there will be the first the proration. So from the compensation from the start date till the end date. So there will be two different segments. The first segment when the employee was in the previous position, and the second segment when the employee was in the new position. So you would here see displayed two different segments. Here my employee did not change position, I haven't get any change in the bonus target or anything like that. So there's only one segment. But if the employee would have any change, which would impact the segmentation of the period, so you would see here the two different segments, or 3 or 4, depending on how many changes the employee had during the period date. So you could have different segments here. I click OK. And now I will go back to my refresh my page. And if I go back to the bonus, you can see here the amount has changed here. So if I go back to my discretionary target amount, you can see that a custom modifier was applied. Similarly, for my other employee, you can see that this customer of 80% was applied as well, due to the position performance factor. So you can see that your factor can be completely custom. You can choose which employee to impact which custom modifiers. So you have a full customization with this modifier. So in consideration, you can use more than one custom modifier per employee production segment, like we said. So it can be also that for your first segment, you have only one modifier, and for your second segment, you can add a 1, 2, 3 or more modifiers. So that's completely possible to do. This task that we saw, this maintain compensation review customer modifier for employee, when I was applying the percentage of this custom modifier, they can be done only during in-progress compensation review in 3 different steps, which is configure pool, complete employee awards, and review employee awards. So this task is not available on the initiation of the compensation review process. It's not available on manage impacted employee step, and of course, it's not usable if the process is finalized. So keep in mind this if you want to opt in for this feature. So what's changing with Workday 2022R2? You have a greater flexibility on your employee bonus calculation, because you can apply custom modifiers to their final calculation. So what you need to do, you need to create your own custom modifiers, your list of custom modifiers. And once your process is in progress, you can apply this different percentage for specific employees. I can't believe the question will be, what I've showed in the tenant was individual. So I picked up each employee each time. There is a web service which will be created, so you will be able to use this web service to apply this custom modifier for multiple employees at the same time. So what happens if you do nothing? Nothing will be impacting your current configuration. It's totally opt-in feature. Okay. Next feature is compensation review calculation lists for bonuses. So with this new release, you can configure calculation list into your grid, and it can have an impact on your bonus calculation as well. So we will see that you can configure calculation tables with custom lists that you have created, and once you have selected one of this cell for this list, it can have an impact on your bonus calculation. So what you need to do, you need to create a new calculation list using a new task called maintain compensation review calculation list. You select the list that you just created in the compensation review calculation table. Of course, don't forget to add this calculation table to your existing compensation review options if you want the calculation to be applied. And of course, if there is any custom validation to be added, you can add it there. So let's go for a quick demonstration. So I have, maybe I will just, sorry, I just maybe show so I will go to show you the maintain compensation review calculation list. So I've created a random list called colors, where I have 3 colors, green, blue, and red. Then I've created a calculation table. A color bonus list, where this new field, custom calculation bonus list value, based on the calculation color, will update bonus factor %. My calculation created for colors is picking up my list of colors, green, blue, red, and applied. It's a simple calculation where I'm applying just a percentage here. So how it works in practice. So I have my compensation review bonus list. And here I have this new column that you need to add to your grid if you want this feature called custom calculation bonus list value. Of course, as you know, in the grid, you can completely override the naming of this field. So once I click on it, I have my list here, my list of colors created. So if I click here for green and press Enter, you can see my bonus factor was applied at 50%, so the 0.5 that you saw in the calculation. If I click on blue, you can see 100% applied, and if I click on red, you can see 149, 150 due to evaporation or something. There is a small change, but the whole idea of this is that you can create a custom list which can impact your bonus factor %. So this list is quite simple and the calculation is quite simple, but you can try to think the different opportunities this new feature can bring to you. So what's changing so with this new feature, Workday created a new is for bonus calculation. So they create a calculation list that and you can select from this list and have an impact on your bonus factor calculation. So to use this feature, you need to create a list with a maintain compensation review calculation list, and then you have to configure in your compensation review calculation table. You need to create, of course, a calculation, the logic calculation behind this all, and remember to add it to your existing or new compensation review options. If you do nothing, what happens if I do nothing? Nothing. This is totally opt-in, so you won't see any impact in your current configuration. And then we have skills for compensation review. So with this new feature, you can now in your grid during your compensation review process, you can display employee skills or job profile skills to your grid. So giving the manager or the reviewer a better, more information on the employee or on their positions. So for this feature, you need to update your grid, your configurable grid, and add the following fields. So you don't have to put all of them. Of course, you can choose only the one that fits for your company. We have all skills for worker, crowdsourced skills, current job profile skills, internal skills, proposed job profile skills, and skills cloud skills. So for the current and proposed job profile skills, I'm going to show you how they will be displayed. So let's jump to the tenant for a quick demonstration of this. So I have my compensation review process open. I'm going to go to the grid. And I will go to the merit section. So on the merit, on my grid, I have added 2 different columns called skills, and internal skills. The naming, of course, can be override on your grid. So that will list me the list of skills that my employees are having. And here is the list of internal skills that my employees are having. So you can now display employee skills. So if that can be useful for your reviewer in the process to think about the merit increase. So this is now doable with this new feature. In case of promotion, so here, if I set yes as a promotion for Joshua Winston, so my position, my current job profile skills for executive assistants. And if I want to change, the job profile to my current job profile for this employee is an associate consultant, and I'm proposing a new job profile called executive assistant. So this is my new proposed skills for this job profile. So this is my current skill for job profile, associate consultant. And if I want to move this employee and change the job profile to executive assistant, this is a list of skills. So the manager can see if the employee fits for this promotion or not. So if based on the current skill of the employees, you can see in merit or even in your sideboard here, you can see if the current skill or the proposed skill would fit for this employee. So with this feature, this is the skills that you will see on the grid. They are based on employee profile and job profile as of current date. So if the employee are having a promotion outside of the compensation review process and the job profile have been edited, so when you go back to your grid after this changeover, the skills are updated based on the current date, not on the start date of the process. So what's changing with Workday 2022R2? You can add skills information from the worker profile to your compensation review. So it gives your reviewer a better, more information on the employee and their job profile in order to see, so to help them with their proposals of new merits or promotion and so on. So what you need to do, you need to include this new report field to your compensation grid. And if you do nothing, you won't see any impact because your grid will stay unchanged for this. Other features for advanced compensation that we have. So Workday is delivering a new web service for compensation review participation rule set. So you can now, you don't have to create manually your participation rule set, but you can just also load them via the new web service. You have a new compensation review process template web service. So if you want to create multiple compensation review process templates for training purposes, you can load them nowadays with web services. So you don't need to do it manually in your tenants. You can do it with the new web services. Get compensation review template and put compensation review templates. And there have been a renaming from Workday. So the adjusted discretionary bonus amount new calc report field that you can see on the compensation review bonus payment business object has been renamed to adjusted discretionary bonus target amount. So the roadmap for compensation, advanced compensation. So you can see the list here. You will have this new peer-to-peer award. So I'm really waiting for that to see how they are gonna do, how they are gonna do it in Workday. There will be some improvement on the compensation review statement. So no more information at the moment, but they are working on that. One pretty exciting future feature would be this grid profiles. So we've been often asked during projects or by customer that why can we have a different grid for the reviewer and different grid for the participant and so on. That will be possible in the future. So Workday is working on the grid profiles. So you can have a specific grid, and that will be based on the roles of the supervisory organization. So your manager can have a different role than your compensation partner, for instance. So we're looking forward to this one. And then, yeah, you can see the list. The side-by-side plan comparison can be also an interesting for all the auditing. So